Welcome back to another episode of the Unscripted Podcast. As always, I'm your host Eduardo, and I'm here with my co-host Edward. What's up, Edward?
Not much, Ed. How you been?
Uh, it's been good, you know. The playoffs just started. Just ended. With the Bucks just destroying the Eagles.
It's
Um,
probably like the longest wild card weekend, if you can even call it a weekend.
well, it went through Monday. It was, like you said, well, you said privately, you said it's kind of weird having playoff games on a Monday, but yeah, we had football all weekend long. Um, and unfortunately, your Steelers played today, which the game was postponed. They were supposed to play on Sunday, but now it got to Monday. Um, but yeah, let's jump right into it. Uh, let's just start at the game with the topic in the game that everybody has been talking about is the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys choked once again in the playoffs.
A one
What
and
ha
done, a one and done by the Dallas Cowboys. Who could have saw this coming?
I
Who?
mean,
What a surprise! Shocker! The Cowboys, they're so perfect and so great in the regular season. Once the postseason comes, they fizzle. Oh my
but
God! What a surprise!
what happened to this team? What happened to this team? And like this team was undefeated, like it was like 16-0 at home. So the whole the whole
I don't think it was 16 and 0. I think it was either 8 and 0 or
no no no
9.
no no it was but throughout from last season. So
Oh,
that so from they've been 16-0 from throughout last season. And this was probably their best chance to get into an NFC championship, obviously, because they got the second seed, and they were gonna be at home throughout the playoffs until they would have to face the Niners, which assuming the Niners would make it far. But the Cowboys just another year of disappointment. Those fans, what happened? But also not to take a lot of not to discredit take away anything from the Packers, what Jordan Love did, what Matt LaFleur, the way he outcoached Dan Quinn and um Mike McCarthy. But like what happened to these Cowboys?
they didn't show up to play. That's the only way I can put it. The Packers just came into their house, did whatever they want, and they just, for some weird reason, I saw kind of early in the game, I saw Mike McCarthy talking to CeeDee Lamb. I don't know what for, but I guess there's kind of like this interesting narrative throughout the game that maybe Dak and CeeDee weren't on the same page.
So
But Dak was giving him targets, but I guess CD they just didn't. They just going to find a way to get CD into the end zone.
but like how you said, how you saw that, like even in the beginning, like I guess him and like in the first quarter, him and CD were they were just like having a it was just weird. They were just
They
the
weren't
com
on the same
they weren't they
page.
weren't on the same page, and from that moment you kind of knew that something was going wrong. Obviously, the Packers got the ball, the first drive went down and scored. Aaron Jones had a day, three touchdowns. Obviously I think
100, 118 yards.
180, 800, like you said, 118 yards, three touchdowns. Remember, they don't have AJ Dillon. Um, but he had a day. But Jordan Love, man, three touchdowns. He threw for 272 against this Dallas team, was supposedly like historic, and this is this defense and everything. This guy, first year starting, first 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 playoff game, and also he has young receivers, all young receivers, and they had a game. Romeo Dobbs, six catches for 151, one touchdown. Luke Musgrave, one touchdown. Wicks, one touchdown. Like this, like I said, like in the last episode, it kind of shows that the Packers knew what they had in Jordan Love. That's why they move away from Aaron Rodgers. And They believed in Jordan Love, and now you're kind of seeing that it's kind of like this is Matt LaFleur's offense, the what this is fully his offense, the what he wanted to run, and you're kind of seeing it.
It's the same stuff that I guess he wanted to run in, I guess what Aaron liked, but
Little,
now we've seen enough to know that Jordan Love's they're sold on Jordan Love. Jordan Love's the guy moving forward. It's his team. He's the guy, and you can only keep going up from here.
yeah, for sure. But now it's just a lot of questions what the Cowboys are gonna do. Tony Pollard, I think, like his contract. Are you willing to pay for Dak Prescott? Um, I think he's owed like 60 million. And Mike McCarthy, what are they gonna do with him? Um, Obviously Bill Belichick, he they parted ways. The Patriots and him parted ways. So a lot of speculation that possibly he can go to the Cowboys because, like they said all day today, Jerry Joe's not getting older. I mean, Jerry Joe's not getting any younger, and he's getting older. And more than anything, he wants the Super Bowl. He wants to win one more time, well, at least a Super Bowl. Before obviously, but you can see it when in the press box. He's just looking like all frustrated and just like, man, like what more can he do? Like so so that's why there was just like all possibility of getting Bill Belichick.
That would be that would be it's not out the realm of possibility Jerry Jones would do something like that, but it's still I would say it's still a wait and see type of thing. But Jerry's a billionaire and having a Hall of Fame coach like Bill Belichick, that'll definitely draw the attraction to Dallas.
Yeah,
But
I mean I mean because Bill usually doesn't want to like obviously the media. He doesn't want no media. Doesn't do any talking. He likes to keep everything like quietly. The player doesn't speak that much, and the Cowboys obviously it's all media. Everything talks. Jerry talks. So, but if Jerry wants to win a Super Bowl, you Bill Belichick's out there.
I'm sure that's what Cowboy fans would want. But I feel if that were to happen, just my opinion, maybe I don't know how long it lasts. 'Cause I just feel like him and Jerry could probably like clash. Because I remember maybe because as my NFL history kind of my memory, I think he and Jimmy Johnson they kind of had a clash right in the middle of their '90s dynasty,
Hmm.
and I
And
think that was kind of like the cause of their falling out. I guess all the way until this year, until he inducted him into the Ring of Honor. I
Mhm.
guess that was like only the
but
time to make peace.
I think at this point, like you said, like he's not getting any younger, and he still hasn't won a Super Bowl. Like within these times, it's been a while since he's won a Super Bowl. So I think,
That streak's going on 29 years at this point.
and it's like at one point you're just gonna have to, be like, you know what? I might just have to take a step back, maybe even Bill, because he might not even be the GM if he gets to the Cowboys. But like I said, there's a lot of head coaches out there, and there's a lot of question what Mike McCarthy's gonna do. But nothing to take away. The Packers just destroyed the Cowboys. All credit to that team. Jordan Love, he is the guy. A lot of people in Packer Nation, they probably didn't believe in him. They were like, "Oh, why did they draft him?" But now they're showing why they drafted him and why they moved on from Aaron Rodgers. But a lot of questions in Dallas should be very interesting in the offseason. What's going to happen? But let's move on because we had like I said, a long super wild card weekend. And let's move on to the Chiefs versus the Dolphins and some not the best weather. Negative. It
Love
was
freezing.
below freezing. It was negative like 27 or 24 degrees at one point at Arrowhead. Um, we saw the field, didn't look that great. It was cold. and the Chiefs came to play.
Hmm.
Um, we didn't like we had everybody had questions with the Chiefs and this offense and everything, but at least we would think even though the Chiefs haven't been playing well, we still believe in like Mahomes and at least his greatness would he would do something and they played well. They played okay, but the Dolphins, these Miami teams, they don't do well not that so
I
well in
had
this
I had all the confidence the Chiefs were going to win that game.
weather. Like, the Dolphins, the Miami teams they don't do so well in this cold weather and Mahomes 23 for 41, threw for 262 and one touchdown pass. And I believe that was to Rashid Rice, right? Yeah, to the Rashid Rice. That was the Rashid Rice touchdown. Isaiah
Hmm.
Pacheco. Man, that guy, Isaiah Pacheco, he runs hard and he's a key player in the Chiefs offense. He had 24 carries for 89 yards, one touchdown. Rashid Rice, like I said, he scored a touchdown, eight catches for 130 yards. Travis Kelce, seven catches for 71 yards, kind of showing that, he's still there when they need him. He's still a player, even though he hasn't been his the normal Travis Kelce that we're used to seeing him, how he
Hmm.
performs. But he's there. But your thoughts on like and even the Dolphins, man.
I
They
mean,
had
they've been dealing with their pretty much all their starters on defense. A good amount of their starters on defense were pretty much out for the game, and that played a factor into basically them choose to do whatever they wanted. And the Dolphins offense, yeah, they had that one touchdown to Tyreek Hill, but they looked pretty pedestrian throughout the whole game.
mm, yeah, Tua did not look good. Even though he threw for almost 200 yards, one touchdown, one interception, he didn't look good. The running game didn't get going, and that's kind of weird because they had Raheem Mostert back. Achan only had 6 carries for 9 yards. Mostert only 33 yards. Um, yeah, this offense didn't really get going, like you said. The defense, they had a lot of injuries. They signed like six guys through like the week. Um, so obviously that's not good. But yeah,
And it's just easy to say the weather obviously affected the
oh
performance.
yeah, yeah. The weather was a factor. I think we both kind of knew that Kansas City would win this game. And it wouldn't be that high scoring game, but from the get go, the Chiefs went down and scored. Um, and that stadium is loud, and it's always a factor. It's a key factor. Um, in through this game playing at Arrowhead. But man, the Chiefs are somehow still there, and they will play Buffalo because Buffalo, fortunately, they beat your Steelers. Um, yeah, they beat your Steelers today. What's your thoughts on that game? Obviously, as a
I feel
Steelers
like
fan yourself.
I feel like you just wanted to record today just to you knew that if we recorded today and like right after this game, I'd either be depressed or upset if we lost or ecstatic if we were happy. You call me biased. But
But
uh
I want to get your thoughts like fresh your thoughts even though the game like ended like a couple hours ago. I wanted to get your thoughts and opinions about this game. Obviously the Steelers were not favored in this game. They were uh 10 points underdogs. Um so your thoughts on the game.
my thoughts on the game.
Not the best
Uh
conditions either. For the
well, let me
players,
just
great conditions. The field was nice for the fans. Not so much.
just missed opportunities. We came up short in moments when we had the ball.
Mhm.
We we had something going on offense, but
A little too late.
yeah.
A little too late. The offense got going just a little bit too late. Um, the Bills started off like hot from the beginning. That rushing touchdown from Josh Allen. How many? What was it? Like
I want to say 52 or 53 yards.
let me double check on that one. It was a 52-yard run. Yeah, 52-yard run that Josh Allen broke in the second quarter. Um, He ran for 74 yards, one touchdown. James Cook 79 yards. Um, but yeah, like the Steelers, the running game didn't get going as what kind of helped them get there was the running game, and it didn't get going. The Bills defensive line really stopped them, and like you said, the offense didn't get going until later on in the game. Mason Rudolph threw a pick, but got going in the second half. And when we were watching the game, you kind of wanted Kenny Pickett, oh, bring him out, but Mason Rudolph was the hot hand throughout. One of the reasons why they kind of got here into the playoffs. He played decent in the second half. He played really well in the second half, but like you said, it's a little bit too late. But what else? What else about your thoughts? What do you think, you know, moving forward for next season?
Moving forward next season, I expect Kenny to continue being back to the starter. The offensive coordinator position still needs to be addressed. It's going to be a pretty long off season, but health really played a role in pretty much this entire season. It was too up and down. And speaking of health, it was very evident that
TJ Watt was needed.
TJ Watt's absence kind of contributed to this loss too.
Yeah, he was definitely needed. Um, but the Bills were pretty smart because every time what's his name, Cam Hayward was out, they would run the ball, and every time he was in, they would kind of like move away. Um, so I mean, these Bills, like I said, they've been an up and down season, but somehow they're still there, and now they will play another home game against the Bills. I mean, against the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, Mahomes versus Josh Allen. You already know the history of that rivalry of this. You know, obviously, like Mahomes went down and scored and didn't give the Bills a chance. So the Bills also have some a little bit like chip on the shoulder. They kind of want to win. They want to beat them, and this time it's at Buffalo too. So that's going to be a key factor for them because those fans they get
Tony be active for that game.
yeah, they're going to be active and
And I'm saying, well, could Darius Tony be active for that game?
oh I have no idea. Maybe.
Because you remember
Oh,
what happened last time.
well, oh, yeah. He was ours. I didn't remember. So we'll see. Because if he wasn't offsides, then it could have been another story. Who knows? The Bills would have been in the playoffs. But he said like that. That's going to be a really good matchup, really good game. I believe that's a Sunday night, right? I guess yeah. That's the last game of this. Yeah, the last game of the of yeah Sunday at 6:30. Yeah, that's going to be the last game. Should be very interesting. Those fans are going to be very loud, and we'll see what happens. Let's get to another game, which very exciting. A lot of points scored, in which we kind of assumed there was going to be a lot of points. Was the Rams versus the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions had a playoff home game, and that crowd was loud. It brought everybody out. It brought the stars, everybody, ex players, rappers, Big
Well,
Sean, Eminem, Calvin Johnson,
it's
Barry
basically
Sanders.
what the Detroit Lions have been doing is Detroit versus everybody.
Hmm. But
And I want to say it was the first time in 30 years the Lions won a postseason game.
yeah, 30 years the last time they won a postseason game. So this meant a lot to Detroit, just even being in the playoffs and definitely hosting a playoff game. But this was also the Matt Stafford returning to Detroit, where he was drafted, where he spent so many years, and the fans booed him. The fans booed him. Obviously, they have respect for him, everything he did. You know, he was traded and he won that Super Bowl with the Rams. And, the fans were happy for him, but they booed him at the game. And then Jared Goff also. He went to the Super Bowl with the Rams and they booted
Who
him.
they traded him for.
They traded him for Matt Stafford and they booted him off. to Detroit. At that point, they were a garbage team. They weren't a good franchise. They didn't what they were like the year before. I think they were like 0 and 16 or something like that. They were not good. He went there and with the help of Dan Campbell and the GMs, they flipped that organization around and that they're not the same old Lions. They are the brand new Lions and they're here to play and they showed it on Sunday night. They beat the Rams 23 to 24. Jared Goff had a great game, 22 for 27, threw for 277 yards, one touchdown. And then you got that two-headed monster with Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs running the ball. Both scored touchdown. But this Detroit Lions, they could definitely make some noise right now. They could possibly get to the NFC Championship. Um, but Dan Campbell, man, a lot of credit to goes to him that he changed that organization around.
Yeah, he instilled a culture and just pretty much emphasized he got the guys to buy in and pretty much established the whole Detroit versus everybody environment in that organization.
Yeah. And one of the plays was like where Jared Goff he threw it and was it to Amar Amar St. Brown? I think it was like to kind of close out the game, but it's like Dan Campbell trusted Jared Goff to make that play in order to end the game, and that's kind of what like the Rams, how everything was going. That they didn't really trust Jared Goff towards the end of the season. They didn't really trust him, so that's when they go get Matt Stafford. But they trust Jared Goff. That's the quarterback. People in Detroit love Jared Goff, and he's got the support of that city, and he's balling, man. And especially with the receivers they got, Amon St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, and the defense has really stepped up too because that was the big question last year. The defense gave up a lot of points. Obviously, the offense scored, but the defense gave they allowed a lot of points, but they definitely stepped up and they will host another playoff game against the Bucks, who just beat the Eagles, like we mentioned. What the heck
We
happened?
kind of Yeah, we kind of saw that coming with AJ Brown being out. The
But
defense isn't what they used to be.
yeah,
Jalen Hurts, he had some issues with his fingers.
and we kind of predicted this. We both picked the Bucks to win it. Um, just because the team they weren't playing well. This team literally had a downfall ever since they lost against the Niners, and I don't know, like the fans kind of lost, like they didn't want Sirianni anymore. Like the fans were like, just run the ball more. Help them with to get. That's how they got to the Super Bowl, and they just it's a lot of questions in Philadelphia right now. Um,
I don't know if Sirianni should be fired, but it's just
but you know how in Philly it gets loud. It gets loud,
mhm.
and they want to win, and this is not the way that the Eagles they lost 32 to 9. Obviously, they didn't have AJ Brown, but the running game. There you brought DeAndre Swift, 34 yards, 10 carries. Jalen Hurts one carry, 5 yards. Gainwell 2 yards. They needed to run the ball a little bit more, and the tush push was stopped once again by Vita Vea. It is stoppable. It just depends who you got there on the D line.
Bucks still have guys from their Super Bowl team. So even though Tom Brady's not there, that championship culture is still sort of intact.
Mhm. Yeah, so we'll see. But let's but yeah, man, it's a lot of question marks in Philadelphia right now. Who knows what's gonna happen to Nick Sirianni. Baker, he played well. 22 passes, completed 22 passes for 30 and 22 for 36, 337 yards, three touchdowns. He's doing well there with that team, you know. So we'll see because he had to go to Detroit. Lastly, let's move on to the what was the first game that kind of started out the super wild card weekend, and we can just go this pretty quick. Was the Brown versus Texans. I did not expect this. Now, because the Browns defense played they were really good, and even though it was at Houston, and Houston brought out the OGs, they brought out the legends. Obviously, Paul Wall, Von B, they brought them out just like Detroit. They brought their legends out. Houston brought
Slim Thug, Mike Jones.
they brought everybody out, and Houston, Texas came to play and balled out. CJ Stroud
Another coming out party. It's like CJ Stroud showed he's the guy moving forward.
and 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 just like we said, Dan Campbell, give him credit. And last episode we said it, D'Amico Ryan's all the credit to him. He really changed this.
Rookie head coach, rookie quarterback.
And this guy, CJ Stroud, has been playing. Looked like he doesn't even look like a rookie. He looked like he's been playing in the league for a while. 3 touchdowns, 274 against that Cleveland Browns team, which ended the Joe Flacco kind of story. And like we said, Joe Flacco was going to throw a pick. We kind of knew this. That's who he is. He's going to throw a pick. He's going to throw for a lot of yards, but he's going to be there. He's going to is what he's known for. It was a great story. Got him to the playoffs, but
It's the Cleveland Browns. They're going to run into a wall eventually. You've seen that. You've seen that viral meme of the jersey with all the quarterbacks that
yeah.
just probably just like that list of quarterbacks goes probably all the way down to the floor. So
But we'll
I
see.
just see it as the Browns just being the Browns.
But they're gonna get Deshaun Watson back. We'll see what happens. The defense is still gonna be there. Kevin Stefanski did a great job with a lot of injuries. Remember, they didn't have Nick Chubb, so we'll see. They'll definitely make some noise next year. Um, but yeah, man, let's just get in right to like the picks for the divisional round. We got Texans versus the Ravens. Who do you got in that game? CJ Stroud versus Lamar, kind of the future versus the MVP of the league, which I'm for sure it's Lamar. Lamar is locked for MVP of the league. Ah, man, it's tough.
I don't know
I want to say the Ravens, but man, CJ Stroud has really.
if you're a betting person. I don't have the numbers again. I don't have the numbers with me, but maybe for that game, I'll probably go with the spread.
Let me see, let me take a look at it. Ah, man, no, but it just who do you think is gonna win? Who do you think is gonna win that game? So right now the Ravens are 8.5 favorites. This team beat the Niners, so you also got to keep that in mind. But man, it's tough. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. No,
Ravens are favored.
no, 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 no. I'm gonna go with the Texans. I'm gonna say CJ Stroud goes there
You can
and
see the
balls out.
Texans pulling off the upset.
I think I'm gonna say the Texans.
I'll
Also,
take.
also because the Ravens had the bye, they haven't played. I like the Lamar. Lamar has been balling, but this CJ Stroud has really convinced me this year, and I think he's gonna go to Baltimore and light it up. I think they're gonna beat and the defense played well too. Keep that in mind. That's how they stopped Cleveland too. I'm gonna say the Texans pull up the upset and beat the Ravens.
I'll take the Texans as well.
All right, we got now Packers versus the Niners. The Niners are at home. The Niners are 9.5 favorites again. 9.5 against the Packers. Man, I want to pick the 40. This game is like a back and forth because Jordan Love, like I said, another young talent, another future that quarterback in the NFL. I'm gonna say the Niners.
I'll take the Niners.
I'm gonna take the Niners. I'm gonna take the Niners. I think the Niners with CMC, Debo, Kittle, Purdy, they're all healthy. Trent Williams, obviously the one of the best um offensive linemen in football. The defense, I'm gonna pick the Niners at home, but I won't be surprised if the Packers give it a close game because after what they did against the Cowboys, I won't be surprised that Jordan Love balls out. We got the Bucks Sunday. Now we move to Sunday. Bucks versus Detroit. The Detroit Lions are 6.5 favorite. I'm going with Detroit. That offense, everything that city has gone through over the years, like I said, 30 years without a playoff win. I think it's due time for Detroit to get to an NFC championship and possibly the Super Bowl. The way the offense has been playing, that defense has been playing, I'm going with Detroit in this game at home.
I'll take Detroit too.
All right. And lastly, the Chiefs versus Buffalo at Buffalo. The fans are going to be loud. This is not an Arrowhead no more. Mahomes is going to play his first game away, first playoff game away from home at Buffalo. I'm going to say the Bills win this in a close game. The Bills are favored by 2.5. I won't be surprised. I say Buffalo wins by a field goal, by 3 points. Just how they had spread, I'll take them at three. I'll take them at 2.5.
I'm gonna go the Chiefs.
You going with the Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chiefs on
You
this one.
you trust the receivers there? You trust them?
I trust Andy Reid's play calling.
I we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's still tough for me because I can't you can't bet against Mahomes, but I'm taking Buffalo at home. I think this is their time to make it far. I think they finally beat the Chiefs and head to an AFC championship. Um and that's it. Any last words, any last thoughts before we end this episode?
Nope.
Nothing for me. And I mean, I got any last thoughts. Hopefully the Chargers sign Jim Harbaugh. He got interviewed. I think most likely he's gonna be the coach, and it'll give me a lot of hope for next year if he's the coach. So we'll see what happens. I think they're not that that's the only head coach they're eyeing on, and that's the only head coach they want. So I think hopefully he is the coach for the Chargers next year.